This is El
First
Clasico.
ever El Clasico.
This is what I did in El Clasico.
Clasico.
This is how the fans responded. Oh dear.
So today's episode starts off with a meeting between Nadia and myself about what happened in El Clasico and how the fans reacted to my rather poor performance. I told Nadia that I was not going to respond to the letter that the fans sent to the club because I felt like I was becoming a scapegoat for FC Barcelona and I did not want that to happen. Then after that, the meeting ends with her saying that she would handle the situation. After that, we had to focus on football though, and warming up for the Real Sociedad game, I heard a couple of Barcelona fans booing and hissing at me. It kinda annoys me that my own fans are turning against me right now, but you know what, I decided to keep calm and focus on playing some good football. And by that I mean scoring a pretty nice team goal to get us that 1-0 lead away from home. I celebrate like this because I want the fans to think about what they're doing. Early on in the second half, Lewandowski wins the ball back, he gives it to me, and the rest was history. 7 minutes later, Pedri finds me in the right wing, making a deadly run. He gives it to me, I control the ball, cut inside, and then I take a shot, but unfortunately the goalkeeper is able to save. Able to save everything except for my corners though. And it seems that Araujo wants to give some of these fans a piece of his mind. And after all of that, the referee eventually blows the whistle for FC Barcelona to walk away with all 3 points against Real Sociedad. With a goal and an assist from the Next Messi, hopefully this will shut up these Barcelona fans now. We walk into a game against Atletico Madrid at the Camp Nou, an important game for our season, knowing that we have to win to get back into the title race. I've been a top performer for FC Barcelona this season, but this still doesn't stop the fans from booing me whenever I touch the ball. But you know what, I don't really care anymore. I'm just gonna win games and continue to prove these people wrong. So in the 15th minute I won the ball back and I took a shot, and let's say this one was unsavable. But 3 minutes later, Atletico Madrid had an answer, and honestly, I gotta say, nice goal from Morata. Seems like this game's gonna be interesting as I'm found on the long ball. I take a touch, control the ball, and I take the shot, but this time Oblak is able to make the strong save. A wise man once said that if you don't score, your opponents will, and I think Antoine Griezmann agrees with that saying. Ter Stegen saved us once in this attack, but the question is, can he do it again? I don't like losing, especially to teams like Atletico Madrid, so I got the ball from Lewandowski, put in a bit of magic, I took the shot, but unfortunately, it's best we don't talk about this one for the rest of the series. But just before halftime, we end up getting ourselves a very unique set-piece goal. And the referee blows the whistle for halftime, and I gotta say, it's been a good game so far for ourselves. And I noticed that some of the fans have stopped booing me. But unfortunately, this is one of these games that end at halftime, because for the second half, nothing else happened and Atletico Madrid and FC Barcelona had to walk away with 1 point each. Very disappointing for both me and the fans. We now jump to January, where we find ourselves in 3rd place behind Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid by quite the margin. Then moving into the Champions League, after finishing 2nd in our group known as CAO, we find ourselves facing off against Napoli in the round of 16. And looking at January, the biggest game was going to be another El Clasico against Real Madrid, but this time for a trophy on the line. But before heading into El Clasico, remember the conversation Nadia and I had earlier? Well, it seems like she was able to pull a couple of strings to be able to convince the club to release a letter in response to the ones that the Barcelona fans sent to us. But whether or not that fixes anything, we'll have to wait and see as we step onto the pitch. As now, it's time for El Clasico. Ciro Immobile is here to kick off one of the biggest games of the season. When it came to El Clasico, the first half was always a bit of a problem, both in the previous game and in this one. This means that we had to wait until the second half for both teams to start showing up. And I was actually having a good performance if I do say so myself, but unfortunately, that letter didn't seem to fix much as a few fans were still booing me. But in the 90th minute, Real Madrid would have the final shot of the game, but thankfully a Ter Stegen save ensures that this one does not end at 90 minutes. And honestly, I had a feeling that we were going to go to a penalty shootout. But in the final minutes of the game, Rafinha ran down the wings, he crossed the ball in, and unfortunately Real Madrid were able to clear it. And it seemed like after that, a penalty shootout was definitely in store. Immobile is the first person to step up for Real Madrid. He strikes to the left and Ter Stegen is sent the wrong way. And out of form, Rafinha was next to take a penalty, but thankfully he was able to beat Courtois with a cheeky chip. Rodrigo was the next one to take a penalty for Real Madrid, and unfortunately when Ter Stegen went right, he went left. But then after that, it was my turn. My first penalty for FC Barcelona. The pressure was definitely on. But we all know that I eat up pressure for breakfast, and just like that, I score my penalty. David Alaba is up next, and once more, Real Madrid sent Ter Stegen the wrong way. Then Joao Felix was the next one on the spot, and again, Courtois guesses the right way, but he does not commit, and thankfully we scored. The pressure was on Vinicius now, as Ter Stegen has not saved a penalty yet, but Vinicius will be his first save of the shootout. And thankfully after that, Barcelona was able to score their next penalty. But after Militao scored his penalty, the pressure would be on one final FC Barcelona player. Can you guess what Pedri will do against the best goalkeeper in the world? And after all is said and done, Pedri is the one to win us the El Clasico and to win us the first trophy of our season as FC Barcelona, the Supercopa. Sure, it's not one of the big trophies, but it's still a trophy nonetheless, and it tastes even sweeter knowing that we had to beat Madrid to get it. So on the 14th of January, FC Barcelona raises the trophy up high and we celebrate well into the 15th, but we know that eventually we're gonna get back to business. Looking into the mid-season stats, you can see that I'm comfortably carrying FC Barcelona right now. Well, me and Lewandowski at least. And looking at the table, we fell down to 4th place. I think we're definitely not winning La Liga this season. So I believe that it's for the best that we focus on the UEFA Champions League first leg against Napoli at home. Surely we're gonna win this one, right? Well, to do that, we definitely need to score chances like this one. 20th minute, Napoli get their first attack of the game. Let's see what they can do against Barca's defense. Well, after Osimhen shocks the entire Camp Nou, we have to head into halftime 1-0 down. And I'll let you know that I am very much angry with the defense after that one. They gotta be doing better than this if we're gonna make it out of here. There's one thing I've noticed about the Barcelona fans nowadays. When we're doing good, they cheer me, but when we're doing bad, they have the nerve to boo me. And it's made even worse when you realize that I'm the one taking most of the shots in the second half, whilst the defense continues to let us down. And because of that, I had a chip on my shoulder. I wanted to prove these fans wrong, but unfortunately I had to realize that I'm only human, and eventually even the great Giovanni da Silva gets tired. And once more, these next 3 minutes are a perfect example of who the actual problem is in this game. So in the 93rd minute, we're under attack once more, and this time, thanks to Ter Stegen once again, we only walk away with a 1-0 deficit, heading into the second leg, away from home, may I remind you. So we jump straight into March, jump straight into the second leg of the round of 16. We head to Italy to face off against Napoli. A good team in their own right, but to be honest, I expected this team to be able to deal with Napoli nice and easily. And of course, I'm doing my part. Sergio Roberto is trying to do his part. The attack itself is pretty nice, but it's the defense that continues to let us down. And today, early on, I noticed that two defenders in particular, Jules Koundé and Christensen, were looking very rocky. Those two definitely had a mistake in them. So in the 16th minute, I knew that I had to score to rally this team into a comeback mood. Once more, I show you the real problem in this team. Right after halftime, we were not letting up on Napoli. In fact, we were the dominant figures in this game. So it's only right that we get a goal, but unfortunately Napoli's defense just didn't want to budge. Straight after that, Napoli had an awesome attack, and I must say, what an assist from Christensen. Same attack 20 minutes later, and Christensen makes another mistake, letting Bakayoko get past, leaving him a chance to pass Osimhen. Unfortunately, the rest was history. And unfortunately, after all that, anger got the better of me and I said some choice words to Christensen. But unfortunately, it wouldn't help because we'd still end up losing this game 2-0, losing the entire round of 16 draw 3-0 to Napoli. And to be honest, I hate it at Barcelona right now. If it's not the fans on my back hating me when we're losing, it's definitely going to be one of my teammates assisting the opposition and knocking us out in the Champions League round of 16. Thanks to Christensen, my first season in the Champions League is ruined.